Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So this video is going to focus on Julius Malema and whether or not he is going to be in jail by the end of today, or at least be sentenced to direct imprisonment, because we already know that he has come out and stated unequivocally that he's going to appeal this sentence. The thing, however, is that an appeal isn't just something that will automatically be granted. Because this is now taking place in the magistrate's court, this means that it can go still to the High Court, which can listen to it and allow a full bench to hear the case, or they can deny it, which in that case means it'll go up to the Supreme Court of Appeals. And if they don't want to listen to it, then the Constitutional Court. But it has to be on constitutional grounds, meaning it adds to the Constitution. So an appeal won't automatically be granted. And considering the work that Tunny Judge, I know she's a magistrate, but in the live streams we call her Tunny Judge, she has been very meticulous with the work that she's been doing. The reason why she took 2 to 3 days to read out a lot of statements was to make sure that she has got this case sealed, and that whatever her judgment is would be very difficult to be opened up in a higher court and allow for an appeal to take place. So she's done quite a lot to ensure, firstly, fairness in this trial, and also secondly to ensure that if it is appealed to a higher court, that they're going to have a really hard time to say, okay, well, we think there are grounds to open this case once again. So Julius Malema is now hoping that this is going to take place because he's already been found guilty. It's now just a question of what is the sentence. And I cannot put enough emphasis on the fact that I believe that it's not just Julius Malema that's on trial here. It is in fact our justice system, because there is video evidence that what transpired did transpire and that he did break the law. And then what happens after that is, I believe, what should be a big factor in his sentencing with regards to whether he should go to jail or not. And in my humble opinion, it's the fact that he lied to the court. He was arrogant the entire way through this proceedings. And lastly, that he called the judge a racist. And then even today, which was the first day of the sentencing, he in essence came out and said that it is white monopoly capital that is coming after him. So he is saying that the judge will be influenced by white monopoly capital, Afrikaners, AfriForum, and a list of, people that he feels have wronged him. But ultimately, the fact that he blatantly lied, first saying it's a toy gun and then saying it's blanks and then saying the video could have been doctored, and the arrogance when answering questions, this all is now typical Julius Malema, that in the past would, get him extra credits and extra votes, but now it could actually count against him, and it could probably lead to his direct imprisonment if all the future appeals fail. A lot of people are worried also whether this could potentially turn him into a martyr if he actually does go to jail. And the answer is no, because the EFF is literally on its last leg. I mean, the organization that has been built around the personality and, this bigger than life person that is Julius Malema will crumble, because anybody that could have realistically taken over from him when he goes to jail, and if he goes to jail, has left the organization. Floyd Shivambu and Ndlozi and all the people that were kind of relevant in the EFF has left. So the only people left are the ones that really won't make a big enough impact to ensure that the EFF grows again at the next election. So if he gets a direct imprisonment sentence, I think the game is over for the EFF too. Yes, there might be an uprising here and there across the country, and people will probably do it for a day or two, and then eventually some of them will get arrested and the rest will say, okay, this is not worth it. And then life will continue as normal in this country. And then, of course, the appeal process starts. And all the while, Julius Malema is allowed to remain a member of parliament, because the moment that you say that you're going to appeal and you lodge the court papers, then your sentence can't be enacted, which means that he can remain a member of parliament for the foreseeable future until all of his resources have been exhausted, and avenues have been exhausted, which then probably would mean that it'll already be, by that time, be the end of his term in Parliament, because I don't see this, being quick. I see this being another 2 to 3 year process, unless, of course, all the courts just come back very quickly and say that we've looked at it and we don't see a high prospect of success if appealed, so therefore we are rejecting it. So ultimately, we are at this point now where whatever the judge decides is going to be very interesting. And listen, can we all just spare a thought for this judge, or at least magistrate, because we can just imagine under how much pressure she has been and must have been for this entire duration of this trial, which also, by the way, has taken a lot longer than usual. I mean, remember, this took place in 2018. It's 8 years later. Do you think any normal individual in the streets would have been able to have kept this going for as long as it has, for 8 years? I highly doubt it. Now, besides the bias that I personally think the court displayed here because they wanted to handle this case with kid's glove rather just dealing with it like they would have dealt with anybody else. Now, another thing that I find quite interesting is that his defense came out today and said that the state is contradicting themselves, because on the one hand, they are saying that all are equal under the law, and then on the other hand, they are saying that Julius Malema should be held to a higher standard because he's a member of parliament and also a leader of a political party. Now, it's common sense that if you are a public representative, you are held to a higher standard. And I do believe the same should apply in law and in court. I mean, that's what happened to me, But then again, Julius Malema isn't white, so the double standards of racism applies here. But what I did find interesting, however, was the fact that after saying that the state is contradicting themselves, then the defense did exactly the same thing by arguing that the case law that the state used in saying this is why he should go to jail and get the minimum prescribed sentence, they then argued, well, the case law that the state used was against gangsters and our client isn't a gangster. Well, I mean, besides that being debatable, the second fact, of course, is didn't you just argue that all should be equal under the law? So you just contradicted yourselves, because should gangsters not get the same treatment as everybody else in this country? Shouldn't all be equal under the law? I mean, but it was those type of arguments where you can kind of see where this court case is going. And this leads to what I believe the outcome is going to be. Now, listen, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a legal expert, but I've been following this case and I can see the behavior from the defense and from the state, and even the fact that Julius Malema at the end of the first day of sentencing didn't sing "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer," and didn't call the judge or the magistrate a racist, and didn't have any negative things to say about her specifically. I think that the outcome is going to be direct imprisonment. I believe that she's going to give him between 3 to 7 years and then say, this is my verdict, but remember, if you take this on appeal, they can implement a harsher sentence. So I think she's going to put the ball in his court and say, here's my sentence. You are guilty. There is video evidence. You were arrogant. You lied. So here is the sentence, and I'm still being lenient. But if you want to take it on appeal, good luck to you. I think that's what she's going to do. And it's going to be interesting to see whether or not his legal team is going to advise him to say, everything considered, this is actually not a bad outcome. Considering what you did and what the minimum prescribed sentence is, getting 3 to 7 years, and on good behavior, you're out after a year or two, take it. I highly doubt that this arrogant man will accept that, though. And of course, all of this is speculative. I mean, like I said, it's not just Julius Malema that's on trial here. It's also the justice system to see whether we all are, in actual fact, equal under the law. Because there is previous case law for a similar situation, which the people got direct imprisonment. So by the time that this verdict is read out, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not we all are, in actual fact, equal under the law. Because with video evidence and with the way that he behaved himself, it's quite clear that there's no remorse and that the minimum prescribed sentence should be implemented. But I would like to hear your thoughts, as you're watching this, whether it is before the actual verdict or after the verdict. Let me know what you think. And whether or not you think that justice prevailed in this case. But that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Smash the like button, share this video far and wide. Don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free. And if you enjoy my content and if you enjoy this channel, please consider becoming a member. You can do so by clicking the join button below, or you can give a super thanks. Look for the $ below and then choose an amount, and it'll be greatly appreciated. And that's all I got to say. Till later, everybody. Cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre.